The Global Latin Factor Podcast.
Welcome to another episode of the Global Latin Factor Podcast, where we talk about Latino everything. That's right. And today we have a very, very special show because we do have a guest that is one of a kind as far as Latino goes. He is, real quick intro, he is an artist, a chef, entrepreneur, overall hustler with thousands of plays on YouTube, different streaming platforms. Also, he's been in different ciphers as far as an MC. He has different businesses. Maybe he can clarify me on a little bit of some of the businesses he have, but such as Chef Key's Empanadas Empire, Gray Matter, Soup Cumbia, which I think is a little bit of a newer thing. And as you've seen him on Channel 8 here in Texas, Dallas, Texas, as seen also in the Dallas Observer and many other publications, he is a native from Chile, the Republic of Chile. El señor Julio Cordier, a.k.a. Kilo Artefacto, a.k.a. Kilo Artefacto, a.k.a. Chef Key, a.k.a. Artie the Empanada Man, and
a.k.a. Empanada Emperor, a.k.a. El Mero Mero Empanadero.
Oh, I like that one.
What's going on,
How you doing today?
Yeah, we're gravy, man. It's a good day.
All right, so before we get to the other stuff, I like to do something fun.
Sure.
And I know that you're from Chile.
Simón.
However, I know that I get a feeling that for whatever reason, you embrace the Mexican culture quite a bit. You hang around a lot of Mexicanos.
Yeah, man, they embrace me.
Especially if you're here in the Dallas
you
area,
got
right?
no choice. You know what I'm saying? You're either on one side or the other. You know what I mean?
All right, real quickly, this is why I call it so crazy, right? Preguntas al Chile.
Al Chile, honest.
So preguntas al Chile means just pretty much to the point, trying to get the actual truth of what you like. Check it out.
Yeah,
Tacos o tortas?
Tacos.
Corn tortillas or flour tortillas?
Gotta go flour.
Gorditas or sopes?
You know what? Sopes.
Sopes. Mexican coca or jarritos?
Mexican cocaine.
Horchata, jamaica or tamarindo agua?
Horchata, amigo.
Ay, salsa verde, salsa roja.
Salsa roja apenitas.
Oh, merito. ¿No te gusta mucho lo picoso?
I had to learn.
I
had to learn.
Absolutely.
So I've been through the levels, but I'm still not heavy.
This one, I don't know if this one you had it before. Menudo o pozole?
I gotta say pozole, bro.
All right. Corona, Dos Equis, Modelo, or do you even drink?
Victoria, bro.
Victoria!
Victoria is a great beer. Mexican beer, my favorite.
Can't believe I didn't have that. My dad likes that
all
beer.
Good. We go ahead that.
Tequila or mezcal?
Oh, tequila.
Valentina sauce or tapatio sauce?
Tapatio apenitas.
Okay, cumbia or salsa dancing?
Cumbia all day.
I know it. Okay, this one's a little, I did a little research.
Okay.
I did my homework today. Pastel de choclo or empanadas?
Empanadas.
It's all obvious, right?
Yeah.
All right, completo or churrasco?
Ooh, oh man. I gotta go, oof. You know, I only had one good churrasco, and it was in 1997. My cousin from Chile was here, man. He was whipping it up. It's basically a Philly cheesesteak. But you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Off the chain.
I saw the pictures of it, and unfortunately, I think I messaged you. I don't eat meat anymore. But it looked delicious.
Props.
It looked delicious.
Yeah.
It looked like it. Okay, so I know you make like Pinot Style Empanadas, right?
Sí, claro.
But if you was to recommend a Chilean dish, what would you recommend to the masses?
Oh, well, you got your classics. You got your cazuela de res, which is basically the same as any other Latin culture soup. But outside of... Man, I don't know, man. Porotos con mazamorra.
Huh?
Porotos con mazamorra.
Oh, what is that exactly?
That is beans smashed into a soup with butternut squash.
Oh, yeah.
And spaghetti noodles. And still some whole beans in there.
Wow.
It's delicious.
See, I learned something new. I've never heard of that.
You can
before.
have salt on it, or you can get brave and throw sugar on it.
Ooh,
yeah, it goes both ways. It's delicious. Porotos con mazamorra.
I'm learning a little bit of like Chilean cuisine. It uses a little bit of the sweet and the salty if you wanted to. I see that. All right, so real quickly, I know. So I'm giving you some tough questions because some of the questions you had before. Because I watched just about every interview you had. I don't get
good preparation.
I don't get tough, but I know you've done plenty of interviews, different interviews on different platforms. But what are 3 questions that you wish they would have asked you during that process?
All right, I'd have to say my birth. A lot of people skip right over that and just assume that I'm a local artist from here. You know, I am from Santiago, Chile. I was
born
born
in Santiago, Chile,
during the
right?
dictatorship of Augusto Pinochet. My family was fortunate enough to leave that situation and find a home here in the U.S. after many years of traveling the world.
So if I remember correctly from one of your interviews, either Channel 8, one of them, and then a different one, is that y'all actually went to Norway first.
Oh, yeah.
So you went to Norway as a kid first.
Yeah.
And stayed there for some time, for the reason being that you know, there was an opportunity with everything that was going on with copper, the country going through a coup. There was not a lot of opportunity from what I heard, and y'all had to leave immediately.
Yeah.
So your dad went first to work for some time.
Yep.
And y'all sold everything at the house, and then eventually you made it over there. Did you recall any time
Absolutely.
over there?
Everything. My parents, everything, dude.
Like,
I have
so
a
how many years were
photographic
you over
memory.
there?
Almost 4 years. From the time I was 3 to the time I was about to turn 8.
So you were over
3
there.
3 to 7. Yeah.
Wow, that's a long time.
Yeah.
And you remember everything.
I remember everything clearly, man. I can even speak a little Norwegian for you.
That's cool. I mean, here's something.
Congratulere med dagen. Red.
I mean, something. Congratulations.
Yes, and then I said the color red, and that's all. That's all I remember. But it is like the German tongues, you know, real heavy like that.
I took 2 years of French in high school.
Okay.
And I know comment tu t'appelles. Je m'appelle. That's it. That's
Oui.
2 years. Oh, oui, of course. All right. What was the other question that you wish they would have asked you other than?
Something I don't really get to touch on a lot because, you know, only immigrants kind of go through this. Is the Americanization that takes place when a kid and his parents move to a different country, whatever that country may be. In this case, USA. Something happened to me where, you know, pop culture in the 90s just took me. My parents were working their butt off.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I lost a little bit of my identity, dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I got to the point where I didn't even want to speak Spanish. Like if I've had a girl call over, you know, and my mom would answer the phone. Oh, no, I got it. Get off the phone. I got it.
What?
And then I talked to my mom in English, you know, because I was embarrassed that they think less of me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And that just builds. Nobody checked me. Yeah. And that just built to the point where I started noticing it. You know what I mean? Yeah. And it wasn't.
And when did you come to the realization that was happening to you? Because you were young. Okay, so
14, yeah.
I got here to the States when I was 11 years old.
Yeah.
So I went through that same crisis because first of all, kids are really mean.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They're really mean at the same time. So you
I had bullies. Yeah,
adapt
for sure.
quickly. Not even the bully part, but just the part that even though they're like, I took ESL, right? So even though we were in the same class trying to learn the language, they still would make fun of you because you couldn't say certain words even at that age.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So certain things you just start picking up. You're like, man, I gotta hurry up and learn this. And I had an urgency to learn, not to mention for myself, but for my parents to help them because.
How old were you when you got here?
I was 11.
11. Wow. Okay.
I was 11. So the same battle that I know what you I can relate to you for the battle. And I was telling you when we were messages, like I can relate to you in a lot of sense for the same reason, right? You go through those battles and things like that. So finally you came to the realization of like, you know what, I'm losing it. But what happened? What like?
It was the 1998 World Cup, actually. I didn't grow up a soccer fan because Chile wasn't really making any noise in the 80s, towards the end, in the early 90s. But in 98, they had a big campaign and 2 superstars that took them back to the World Cup. And I saw my cousin, the churrasco cooker, and my parents and my dad and my uncles and all the Chilean community. You know, I went with them because I'm a kid. They didn't leave me at home, you know? Yeah. So we'd go to these bars, El Tren Latino, I remember. It's a place called El Tren Latino. Which
Here
was
in Dallas?
Yeah. It was like a hotel restaurant on the 3rd floor, you know?
That's cool.
And they played all the Latin American qualifying matches for the World Cup. And I remember Chile, Peru, and I was there and I was going and I was just starting to see the thriving, pulsating energy that my people, my family had, you know? Right. And I was swept away with it by it, you know? And I didn't understand anything about soccer, but by the time that the World Cup, that they made it to the World Cup and I started watching the games, dude, I cried when they lost. I couldn't sleep when they won, you know?
So something dormant was there, and you were trying to suppress it for a long time.
Yeah.
It's only obvious because you're having an identity crisis.
The pride, right.
You're having an identity crisis. They bring you over as a kid. You're trying to, like, not to be looked at a certain way because at the same time, your status as far as like legal or not legal, that kind of plays in. And all of a sudden, you're like, realize like I've been suppressing all this beautiful thing that is my culture, is where I'm from.
That you have to put on just to survive. You know what I mean? But if it goes unchecked, it's dangerous.
That is true.
You know what I mean?
I had a similar thing that happened to me, but guess where it was at? I'm a veteran too. So it happened in the military.
No way.
Because you would not realize how prideful people are within the military. like as people from another country, because all of us had our flags.
Yeah.
I had the Mexican flag on my car. Other people, you see the Chilean flag, the Peru,
right?
like everywhere, bro.
Yeah,
and that's like crazy because we're within the military, in the U.S. military, and you can tell anybody, ask any Latino that you might know that knows a military guy that's from it. They are so prideful in the military because they don't say nothing to you. They understand. We are we're in the military for the U.S., but at the same time, we have roots.
To truly embrace the melting pot nature of the U.S.
Absolutely. So you cried when they lost.
Yeah, man, it did. And I was destroyed. And I said, well, why is this happening to me? I've never felt such emotion up and then down like ever in my life. Anything, nothing. So it shook me, and it wasn't just me. There's another Chilean kid that I hung out with who was a little older than me, but we had the same thing. We spoke English to each other. Oh, yeah. But after that, we both started speaking Spanish to each other without realizing it, you know what I mean? And we had to fix our Spanish because our Spanish was messed up, you know? Right. So we had to, the Chilean slang has its own ways.
Oh, yeah.
And so I had to kind of tap back into that. And my cousins come in every few years from Chile and kind of hit me upside the head with the lingo. Helped a lot. And by that time, I was embracing it, you know?
You know, it's... It sounds weird, but it is kind of like a feel of like a little bit of shame and embarrassment at the time that you don't want people to know that you're this. Yeah. But at the same time, it's a growing process, right? Yeah, because after that, it makes you realize.
You're a cocoon, man. You're not a butterfly yet. You know?
Absolutely. What about the other question, the third question that you wish they would have asked you at another place?
My affinity for hip hop. The moment that I couldn't look away.
Okay, so if I remember correctly, Michael Jackson, "Dangerous" is a record.
Yep.
Okay.
Song number one.
Jam. Yeah.
It ain't so much that it ain't too much. It ain't too much for me to jam. And then I love Michael Jordan, of course. He was in the video. And then they had. Was it Heavy D? I think it was Heavy D.
Yeah, I think
so. Jam, here comes the man, hot damn. The B-boy stands, throwing up her hands, making funky tracks from my man Michael Jackson. Smooth criminal, the man Mike, so relaxed. Mingle, jingle, bum on this rungo. Bum rush the door, 3 and 4 in the bundle. Execute the plan, cause I'm cooler like a fan. Go with Janet and with God and with Michael, cause it ain't so hard to jam. And I was like, whoa, stop everything.
Yeah.
What the heck was that? And that was it. It just did something to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I know exactly what you mean because remember I wasn't born here either. I was born with all the music and everything that I knew. Yeah. But then I think it was in the 90s. Bone Thugs and Harmony happened.
Man, absolutely, yeah.
Crossroads. And I heard the Crossroads on the radio. Just skipping through there, all of a sudden I hear that, and I'm like, "What? I don't understand what they're saying." Yeah. And then MTV happened, and then the video, and they performed the song with all the white suits. And I'm like, "What is this?" Yeah. And ever since from then on, I had like a deep appreciation for hip hop. From then, I started looking into more hip hop and things like that. But that moment right there, I can relate to you because it was like, "What is?"
Yeah, no, it was absolutely something else.
Yeah.
By way of that song, I basically I piggybacked from the Heavy D rapping to the Black and White song also on that same album had some rapping. And then Coolio, Gangsta's Paradise.
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
And then, the whole West Coast took over after that.
Yep.
West Side Connection and Tupac.
I know you got an interesting feeling about that because your hip hop is more, and I'm gonna get more in depth about it because actually we can.
Yeah.
So let's start with your name itself because I haven't seen anybody ask you, or maybe they have asked you, what does your name mean? Because I kind of have an idea, but I don't think I'm on point about your name. And I know that there's different ways that you use it. Sure. But what is your name as far as your hip hop name come from? Who gave it to you, or was it given? Was it something that you came up with?
Well, my cousin Eric, rest in peace. Passed away in 2003. He got me into this rap game. 2004, sorry. He got me into this rap game, taught me how to produce and step in the booth and record. And I was very young, so he didn't, work on me one-on-one, but he got me rolling. You know what I mean? Right. Once I loved rap and I knew, you mean we can do it? And then I went off on my own way and did my own thing. But I didn't know the influence, because now I'm a Chilean guy, right? And I looked around. So what are the influences? What kind of rap is there at the time? Okay, we got your SPM. All my Mexican friends were heavy on the SPM. And I was like, this is dope, and it was. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That dude could rap.
Yeah, he could rap.
And at the same time, my cousin gave me a tape from a Chilean group called Tiro de Gracia, which was classic 1997 release. Emmy Latin picked them up and they toured. They did their thing, and
wow.
they disbanded later. But I had a tape, so I had SPM, Texas Houston rap, South American hip hop, which sounds real East Coast, but still with some Latin vibes in it.
Yeah.
And some other dude was getting me into ICP. You know what I'm saying? I was into the Insane Clown Posse. At first, I was scared of him. I was like, nah, get this devil stuff away from me.
They do look
But
a
I
little
had
crazy.
a homeboy, Luis Rodriguez. So you know what time it is. And he showed me the Jekyll Brothers album. And I was like, this is actually pretty tight. And it had beats and it had its own little flavor. But I was conflicted. So I really liked Master P and C Murder and Mystical and all the Louisiana rap,
Did you listen to any of the West Coast Mexicano rappers like Little Rob, Little Cuete and them at all?
Frost. I got into Frost a little bit, but Big Pun kind of took the Latin votes for me early. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Boricua.
And again, I didn't know anything about what hip hop from the East Coast was or nothing. To me, it was just all rapping on different beats,
Oh, yeah.
But to find my own flavor, it really took a while, man. So I guess I tasted all of them because I could sing, I could rap, I could double time like Bone, you know what I'm saying? I do Spanish, I do English, cumbia. I'm very versatile. And I used to put myself in a box. I'm like, no, we only doing underground revolutionary rap and this and that.
Yeah.
And that's a big part of me because of who I am. And
where you come from, too. Because that's a lot of your culture.
But I also can't ignore the fact that I'm a second generation musician and that I have the ability to create music however I want it to sound.
Yeah.
And so it's like a magic brush that I have. Anytime that I get down on some music, it could be anything. It doesn't really I don't close myself in a box anymore. However, the lyrics are always going to be true and positive, but they don't also have to be churchy and gospel. You know what I mean?
And that's what the name comes from as far as the things that you spit?
Oh man, I got way off topic.
No, you're good.
Well, my cousin Eric got me in the game, like I said, and then early on I was like, this is what I want to do. I need a name that's going to work in English and in Spanish because I don't know yet which one I'm going to pick. Kilo. I was writing a verse and I was like, all right, that fits, so I just threw Kilo in there, right? Later, I changed the syllables, Kilo, and flipped them so it was low key. No, Loki, Thor's brother Loki, but in Norse mythology, which probably they get the story from, Loki misunderstood god of mischief, exactly. And in Norway, that was kind of prevalent in the culture that I was brought up in. And I feel like I came here to stir the game up and destroy so that we can rebuild a more positive hip hop community. You know what I mean?
So the Kilo was just something that you added, stuck with it.
It needed to be bilingual. That's it. I just needed something that was going to work in English and Spanish, one word without having to change.
And what does the other second word mean for you? Is it artifact or artefacto?
Artefacto in Spanish, artifact in English. I had to add something to Kilo because there's like a million Kilo dudes talk about cocaine in their raps, and that's not really what I was. I get a lot of people, why they call you Kilo, huh? And then I'm like, you really want to know? And then they're looking at me crazy like, it's not what we were expecting at all.
Because you do have a pride that rap has a or hip hop, not I guess you can say hip hop and rap, but kind of like mainstream rap and then hip hop have kind of like a wall, right? Because a lot of the ones that make it mainstream, there's a lot of dope money and dirty money that comes behind it. But you're very prideful as far as that.
I'm a purist.
That's not your thing.
That's right. I'm a purist. I don't think that there's a problem with me getting on some trap beats in Spanish and English, but it also doesn't mean that I have to say what everybody else is saying on them. You know what I mean?
And even the source of the funds to where you're put into that's what I mean.
You know what I mean? You know what? I've actually turned down partnerships where drug money was presented because I didn't want that messing up my seed.
Yeah, that's what I mean.
Yeah, absolutely.
You're about that too. Yes. Okay, so you move on to your name. Okay, so if I get it correct, the Gray Matter is the actual. Is it your like record label?
It is.
Or is it a movement?
It's originally Bajo Mundo Projects, which was Underworld Projects.
Yeah.
Everything was underground and underworld in my old head, right?
Yeah.
And then in 2010, me and DJ Budafingers that I went to school with, we formed Gray Matter, which is let's meet somewhere in the middle where we don't have to be black or white or red or blue or positive or negative. Let's just meet somewhere in the middle and play in that field. So
you know what Gray Matter is, right? Like the definition of Gray Matter?
Yeah, your brain. Your brain matter.
I looked at him too. I'm like, wow, that is so dope. Yeah. That he was able to combine the meaning that we don't want to be too this, too that, be in the middle, but at the same time combine some consciousness to go with it.
It's like a filter in your own head to Watch what you pull.
Yes, exactly. And I was tripping out because I was looking at some of the things like those things have to be on purpose.
Yeah.
Those things have to be. They're not just random as
I like Alex Gray too and his artwork. He's into like real bizarre art and
okay. First time I ever heard of that name, but I'll make sure.
Yeah, look him
Alex
up.
Gray.
The Net of Being. You might have seen the paintings where it's a bunch of eyeballs in like this hallway, and
you know what?
The pillars are faces. You know what I mean? That dude, like he gets out on LSD, and like digs deep into his consciousness and like creates amazing art.
You know what? I
If
think
you ever
I probably
seen
ran
Tool
into
videos,
one of them.
if you ever messed with Tool or seen a Tool album, that's all his artwork, basically. So Tool rocks, dude.
All right. So at this time you've been doing the hip hop. Is it still just you? And okay, hey, you said something earlier. So you produce, you recorded everything, you do everything.
I do
like there's
everything.
no outsourcing from anybody else.
There has been. I have people help me master a lot. I'd rather not do all the audio engineering,
Right.
because I didn't have I'm a perfectionist. If the quality ain't there, it ain't there. I'll record it 10 times at home and then 2 times at the real studio, and I'll stay with the last one. But now I've built my booth and everything in quarantine. I've been able to just stack a little bread and and just focus and finally get back to work, dude. Honestly, I don't know how much I would have. This docuseries I got wouldn't happen if I didn't have all this time to sit around and plot it. But now I can cleanly lay my vocals, send them over correctly to my engineer, DJ Budafingers, and we go to a separate studio where sometimes I don't even got to be there. We got a streaming there, so I can literally be from home, just chilling in on the session while my man Budafingers pushes all the buttons. And
that's a great way to adapt for everything that's happening,
Yeah. And I think it's a new wave, and we got to jump on it.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Okay, so after you get everything done, like, it's crazy that you do everything, first of all. It just trips me out. And then how many projects have you had so far? Because I was trying to count all of them, but there was different ones that I would have. So what's the total amount, whether you call it, I don't know if you call it mixtapes or actual albums or LPs?
Yeah, mostly albums. In the mid-2000s, it was mixtape world.
Yeah.
So I have a few there, mostly because I didn't have original beats to work with all the time,
Yeah.
But once my production and my friends, our producers, the people I mess with got really good, I've started really putting it down, you know what I mean? But as far as production too, I get beats all the way from Australia. This Chilean cat in Australia sends me stuff.
For real?
Yeah.
That is so dope.
Yeah.
How did that happen?
Los Brujos, a Chilean hip-hop group from New York, same as me. Their parents left during that time. They moved to New York. They grew up there during the golden era of hip-hop.
Yeah.
They promoted themselves to Chile as a hip-hop group since the 2000 and are pretty legendary down there. And then in 2013, finally went to tour. Well, before they left, opportunistic. I found him on Facebook. I said, Soldier Sean, what's up? Let's get down on the track. And he goes, all right, yeah. He sends me a beat. It's by my dude, Pabstract. I'm like, all right, cool. It's a dope-ass beat. I drop the verse, lay it, cool, send it back. They're like, dude, this is dope. We're about to go to Chile and promote this album. And I'm like, what? Seriously? So here they are in Chile touring in 2013 with my verse on their album, spreading it all over the place. So next thing you know,
crazy.
Chilean people are looking me up, or by accident, Chilean Rap Terror, or Chilean Rap. And my video pops up, Chilean Rap Terror. You know what I mean? So
that is so dope.
Just try to dabble in everything and not slack. You know what I mean?
Oh, you stay busy. You stay busy. I know so because I've seen a lot of the things that you do. Okay, so the how many projects so far?
Oh, there we go. Let's see. First demo was Bajo Tierra Clan, a Spanish CD that we burned out of my own mom's house. So it's a full project, I guess. Then the second one was La Nueva Escuela, another Bajo Tierra in Spanish. Did that with Freestyle Records in Fort Worth. Then we dropped the Street Life album. I definitely produced about 50% of that. And then I started my own. I already had my own Bajo Mundo project thing going, but after those 2 or 3 albums with the label, I went off and went solo on my own thing and had a big crew, and I'd like to school them on hip hop stuff. And we dropped volume 1, was like compilation albums. Bajo Mundo projects 1, 2, 3, and 4. So 2 Bajo Tierras, 5 compilations, including that Street Life, and then we did a few mixtapes, maybe 4, and then I lost count. You keep count?
Yeah, it's a lot.
Okay,
All right, last
probably
count.
at 10.
Yeah, about 10 so far.
And then Gray Matter
Mm-hmm.
EP 2 times, and then Gray Matter album
Mm-hmm.
mixtape, and now Gray Matter album, and then Kilo Artefacto solo.
So we're at 15 right now.
It's a lot.
About 15.
But a lot of it was mostly, I didn't want to do solo work until I was super polished.
Yeah.
So those compilation works and mixtapes were basically just training.
One thing that you said in one of the interviews that I think is dope too, because a lot of I think you get a better understanding of the business part as well. Because if you want it or not, it's important.
Yeah, it is.
But you did say something about all that, even though some of them were free promos.
Yeah.
But some of them is all your stuff.
Yeah.
There's nobody else that claims your masters or anything.
That's
It's
right.
your stuff.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's like, I think that's very important to you.
I may have had some stuff early on that belonged to Freestyle Records, but I'm so far past that and on other levels now that it doesn't even matter.
I seen your, I'm gonna get a little ahead, but I seen your performance that you did not that long ago with, I think it was the mic, open mic that you did not that long ago. I think you did like a performance, virtual performance, real club open mic performance. They just released it about 4 months ago.
Oh yeah,
you had the mask on
That's
still.
right. That's right.
Yeah.
With DJP.
Okay,
yeah,
so
Fort Worth.
in that, I know you've been doing it for some time. Reason being is because I seen your performance when you performed 12 Steps.
Oh yeah.
A long time ago, and I forget what the club was. Probably the Dada or somewhere in Deep Ellum.
Yeah.
And then compared to this time, or the way that you perform, I can see the huge difference as far as how comfortable you are in delivery, like acting, and then the way that you're just so like confident as far as the way, you know what I mean? I'm not saying that you weren't, but
I've had a lot of
time.
practice on that particular
absolutely.
song. That's probably one of my biggest hits.
About that song. Tell me about that song. I like the song.
Sure.
It's so dope.
Mm-hmm.
It's like informational at the same time that like it's instructions. I get a little bit of an Eminem vibe type, but at the same time it's just like a story.
Yeah.
And then I think we're just forgetting that part nowadays, the storytelling part.
Yeah, that's right.
You know, and then I can see man, if I write the steps down, like I'm gonna be able to go ahead and do it.
It mathematically made sense in my head before I wrote the song. I said, all right, 12 steps. 4 bars, 1 step. Next 4 bars, step 2. Okay, so if I do 4 steps in each verse, I got 3 verses.
Yeah.
12 steps.
12 steps.
Bam. It mathematically just, okay, cool. Just fill in the gaps
That
there.
is so dope.
It wrote itself.
Can you give me like a little bit of the first verse?
Yeah. Step 1. In order to become an MC, I break it down for them young rappers trying to be. First of all, it ain't just about rapping the beats. It's about poetry and being mentally free, which brings me on to step 2. Freestyling is like a habit. Some are born with it and others will try to grab it. No matter what your situation is, I tell you this, you gotta know how to respond when a rapper tries to diss. Step 3. Know yourself, what you all about. Because if you're all about the money, you can see your way out. Rapping ain't clockwork, it's more than just a J.O. There's a pretty good chance that you'll never be on payroll. Step 4. Get a crew together locally. But make sure that they all dope vocally. And if you need some extra help, call me. Because after all, shoot, I am an MC.
Like that. You know what? Okay, so I do... I got a confession.
Sure.
I call myself MC at times because I do master of ceremonies for weddings and quinceañera, but it's not the same thing that you do. This is like you talking about hip hop. You're talking about like way back, you know what I mean? And that's just like a whole different type of thing. And what you do is like, A1, 100%. All right. So you move on to that, but they're doing this time, you do dive a little bit into some cumbia.
Oh, yeah.
And you get with Químicos del Son.
That's right.
And this is a huge hit. I feel like it's a big hit.
Oh, yeah. We haven't even pushed it all the way yet.
Yeah.
We need to get it on other plats and maybe even hit up Univision and see what's up with that.
Yeah, absolutely.
For the next wave, but it's
even
good.
the video itself is dope. And then like just the song, La Cumbia Caguamera. Like,
you're talking about the Caguamera?
That one. You got a new one.
I got a new one.
Oh, God, you know about the new one. I missed that part.
Okay, no, this is good. This is the old one. This is me featuring Químicos del Son. Subcumbia is me and the brothers from Químicos del Son doing electro cumbia hip hop.
So you just started that.
Yeah.
Like recently, right?
Like April.
Yeah. And then you just released that one song.
We have one song.
One song only.
We're going to jump on to the next one, but we're debating on what it's going to be about.
So that's the one that you're like talking about they are wanting to do more and push it even
Yeah,
more.
I always knew I'd do cumbia. If I didn't do rap, it'd be cumbia. But you can't just whip up a cumbia band. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? So Ramon is a genius, man. Ramon and his brothers from Químicos del Son, the dude who plays the accordion. They used to have a lead singer. He left. He stepped right in and took over, and they kept on rocking. Because it used to be Amistad.
Well, I know a cumbia group. I can.
You
I have a
told me about that.
conversation with them. We just had them the last episode.
Okay.
Los Gran Reyes.
Sí, sí.
They're from Dallas.
Bacán.
Their family is from Michoacán, Tierra Caliente,
Nice.
and they've been doing cumbia here in Dallas for some time. So I would let them know to check out some of your stuff.
Thank
and
you.
if you're interested, because they're here in Dallas and their whole
for
crew,
sure.
and I know they'd be riding and different things like that. I mean, I'm not trying to connect
No,
anything,
but
I'm
if
saying,
if
I'll bring it up to
cumbia
them.
and then maybe Químicos and then them, we
Yeah.
could do a three-way festival.
Yeah.
And there you go,
because they're dope.
Yeah.
They have their own original stuff and everything, and I know they're always looking to. They're doing a cumbia urbana
Okay.
type of vibe.
Ooh, okay, so we might have to.
You know what I mean? So the cumbia urbana is just it's a different type of vibe.
you
You
got my
know,
ideas
it's more
working.
of a
Yeah.
Okay, so and I know they do write a lot, but I'll bring it to their attention,
got
see if they're interested. Maybe hopefully I get together. That'll be dope. All right. So how did Químicos del Son and you linked up for Cumbia Caguamera? Because that one was a really good big.
Yeah.
It was a big hit. It really was.
We were gonna do it.
It was decent.
We were gonna do it. We kept talking about it. It was just I kept seeing Ramon. He was like, "One of these days, I'm gonna shoot you that beat." And one day he shot the beat. And I remember I was still working at this restaurant as a waiter, right? Before I had my papers. I had to like work wherever I could, you know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
So I told the dudes I was working with, "Hey y'all, I'm gonna need a little bit." And then I go, "Hey, in Mexico, that's one of the vatos. I was like, "Hey, ¿cuál es una caguama like that's known?"
Yeah,
or like a 40 bottle that's like
Yeah.
common over there. And he was like, La Carta Blanca is
Yeah,
always a
Carta
big old can or a big old garrafa,
Yep.
So I was like, all right, cool. So I threw it in the wraps. And they thought I was messing around, you know what I mean? Come a month later, they got the video and I go, "Hey, here's your rhyme, bro. Appreciate that." He was like, "What?"
And then you know how I knew that you were in with the Mexican culture, because you even referenced the soccer team in there.
Oh yeah, Rayos. Oh yeah, I'm Rayados all day. Yeah.
So I was like, "Oh, look at this."
Monterrey.
That's why people. Okay, so that's why people get it confused
Yes.
whenever with you regarding
Yeah.
that, because I know you talked about before your identity.
Right.
Like what are you?
If I was born in Chile, I'm Norwegian by way of Chile. I am Mexican by way of Monterrey, and I am American by way of Dallas, Texas, Fort Worth, all that.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? So
and
that's the way to say it.
that gets weird too, because you talked about that. That just gets real
It's hard.
territorial.
I got a song about that.
Even the main artist, I remember that song. I heard about it.
Different-
Or if
different
you're
answers.
from the Middle East too,
I look it.
because of the eyes.
Everywhere
The
I go,
beer.
people say that I look Arabian. Got a song about that too.
Yep. And I see it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I was thinking about it alone, because I have different theories. Because if scientists can come up with theories, what's the difference between their theories and my theories? Because I can come up with my own theories.
Right.
So
you ain't gonna believe them all the time.
if we started with two, right? In the beginning of humankind, we started with two and started spreading all over the place. What's not to say that people from the Middle East didn't land in Chile and that was part of your ancestors.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean?
I think I know when it happened too.
You think so? What was it?
During World War II,
Uh-huh.
a lot of French people dipped to South America. A lot of Italian people dipped to South America. A lot of
Yeah,
Irish people
Argentina.
dipped to South America. Argentina,
Yep. There's a lot
more
of Italians.
light-colored.
There's a lot of
Latins,
Italians, yeah.
And they have that same singing tone, to their dialogue. You know?
Makes sense.
It's awesome. I love the fact that Spanish, and that's one thing I pride myself on too, is that all the Spanish dialogues from Chile to Argentina to Peru to Ecuador to Colombia to Puerto Rico, chico, oye tú,
Yeah.
you know, even,
Yeah.
oye compadre, el chileno hablan así medio enredado, y vos cacháis la weá. If I speak in, mira vato, aquí estamos al otro lado, vamos a ir a hacer un show aquí bien chido, no hay pedo, con unos tacos.
Okay, so your theory is that during that time there was people from the Middle East that made it?
My last name is French, and the French people were basically Middle Eastern and European
Close to right there, yeah.
puppies.
Yeah.
So we are a mix of a mix of a mix of a mix, and
That's what I tell you.
Yeah.
We always think that, like, okay, we think about like 20 years. I mean, like even 100 years back, and that's it. But we talking about thousands of years as this stuff happened. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So real quickly before I forget, so you just recently got your residency or your citizenship?
2016, I got my residency.
Your residency.
Just a few months from getting the citizenship.
Okay. So, and it took 25 years to get. So I know about it because as I remember, I told you I crossed here illegally. Our process for Mexicans is a little bit different. I don't know exactly what happened in your case, but for mine was we crossed illegally, and I was a kid, right?
You got no choice.
I was
go with your parents.
I was a kid too, but naive.
You're lucky they didn't throw you over the
You
border.
know how like they call you names, que palda mojada, and then in my naive mind is like I crossed, but I never got wet.
I never understood what they were saying.
So anybody that ever said out like you're wet, whatever, like well, I never got wet. Like I crossed, like I like crossing this little freaking tubo. They pulled me, and I didn't get wet. Like I checked, like I'm in shit. So I don't know what you're talking about, because it's not me.
Because to me, when they were saying they say like mojado or wet back, I'm like, why? Because we work hard. What's the? I don't understand.
It's supposed to be because you crossed over, you got wet. But I told them I'll make sure I stay dry, so they wouldn't. And my 11-year-old naive mind, like I never got wet, so I don't know what you're talking about, because it's not me.
It's just ignorance.
Yeah.
Is a good
So
point
finally, when we got here, my dad paid a big fine because he crossed illegal. So the way it works for Mexicans is you pay a fine because you crossed illegally, and then you pay for the process, and then that's how my dad got us. Because my dad was here from the amnesty back in '85, and then that's how we got our residency, and then that's how I was able to become a resident. And they only took, I say, 3-5, maybe no less than 5, maybe less than 5 years. But you said 25 years.
Yeah, man, I wasn't able to go to school thinking that I could do anything with my life, and that really hurt me.
Oh yeah,
you know what I mean?
It's like a big, huge boulder on top of your head.
Why am I gonna fight so hard to get out of high school when I can't even get a job? Like, what's the point?
I mean, it is discouraging.
It's a negative thought, and no one checked me again. My parents, they're busy, yo. They're musicians too. Either they're at work, or we're eating dinner, or we're asleep, or they're at a show playing or rehearsing. You know what I'm saying? And kind of the same thing with me.
Okay.
But yeah, it's.
Why did it take so long? As far as that you know of.
I mean, there's personal reasons. There's personal reasons I can't really get into. But luckily, during the Obama administration, he singled out Chilean people and fast-paced them. And I went through the Ortiz law firm, Abogados Inmigración, Ortiz, an unofficial plug, but they absolutely changed my life. And now they're helping me become a citizen. Yeah. So I got to
I'm working on mine too, because I'm only a resident.
Okay,
still.
Cool. So we're on the same. Okay.
So I'm working through. I'm going through another.
We got the party then, right?
Yeah, absolutely, bro. I'm gonna cry today because I remember I've been to the military. I went to war, and I put myself in jeopardy because I got myself in trouble. When you're a resident, you can get yourself in trouble. Yeah. No, it's I understand what happened.
I'm gonna wait for you then. Huh? I'm gonna wait for you.
We're getting close.
If I get it first, I'm gonna wait.
And
if you get it first, I'm gonna party anyway.
Right, we're linking up. And so it's a crazy thing because I'm telling you, the things that you were saying in your life and everything, even though it's a different story from Chile, it's real similar to another person, maybe another immigrant, for sure. Just like myself, that did something for this country, and it's like I know what you mean. It's like an invisible wall pushing you down because you know that you can't do this. Even if you work on it, it doesn't matter because they won't let you do it because you don't have the status that they say you need in order to proceed. But that didn't discourage you from continuing to working on music and finding a hustle to continue to provide for your family, whether it was working like even a restaurant or things like that.
I did tile work, dude. I learned how to paint.
Yeah.
Engineering.
Your parents, you said so even when they got here, they were still artists because your dad plays drums and your mom sings, and I think both of them play the guitar if I'm not mistaken, right? Yeah. So did they still here?
In Norway, they had a band called Sabor Tropical, and they started it.
Nice.
When they left, it disbanded. They moved here. They've always been Sabor Tropical. So
you never got them in a track at all with the drums, with the guitar?
I need to, but I used to play the congas live with them at shows for a little bit. So I got my rhythm from my dad.
Yeah,
see, my dad rhythmic. My mom sings. She's a lead singer too. So I got both rhythm and singing from my parents.
That's dope.
Now they don't like rap, so it was really hard for me to explain that to them.
Even having live instruments on the track is like a different type of vibe, and I think it would be. I mean, again, I'm just all about suggestions. Sure. I don't even know who to
you're right, bro.
To suggest, but it would be super dope to have something like that.
It's crazy that we haven't linked up before because
we ran into each other before in some events. I don't know if you recall. Well, I know Little Cass.
I
know J Champ. I know about J Champ. I know of Kobe Savage. I know of a lot of cats that you actually done tracks with. Because I used to do my own show doing artists a while back, and then I did KNOM for a little bit. Oh, in fact, you even have Eddie Easy Eddie D
Yeah.
on one of the tracks.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I
And
love
that
Easy Eddie D.
Yeah, he's the legend. Does he still have a show going on? 'Cause if he
It's
is,
the show. It's
I
the longest
believe
running.
the longest now.
Yeah.
Because he was the second at one time, and I think now he is the longest running hip hop show in the world. In the world.
It's amazing, right?
That is wild to me.
Yeah,
You know
that's
what
crazy.
I mean?
Yeah.
And
Local radio.
yeah, so
Insane.
he used to do a show right after when I was on, because I was on Saturdays.
Okay.
So he used to do a show, and
word.
he's a real cool cat.
Yeah.
Real,
Yeah, Mello. What's good, my Mello? Yeah.
He's the best, bro. He really is. Yeah. Oh yeah.
Shout out to ADD. You love you, dude.
You know what?
You're a legend, bro.
You know what? One of the things that I learned from him, because we used to, we probably ran into some of the like the conferences they do for the artists, things like that,
Yeah.
to try to. One of them, he was a speaker, a key speaker, and he said something that to this day I still use. He said, like, the word hate. He doesn't use the word hate because Hitler hated the Jews, so he doesn't like that word, and he doesn't use it for even haters or addressing people, because that's hate. That's real hate. And there's power behind words, and I to this day check myself on that. But I don't use that. I don't call people haters. I don't be posting stuff like that. Like,
I don't know. Like
even
that.
memes, because
Don't thrive on that.
it doesn't. I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't know.
And I took that from him, and I don't even know if he knows. But that word itself is just like,
You don't want to
pretty
give
much out of my
negative energy
vocabulary.
any juice. That's all. He checked me one time.
Really?
I mean, it was
What
not.
happened?
It was not as severe as the
Yeah.
hate, but it was like, he was with me and we were rolling around. I go, let's pull up in this hood real quick and get some gas. And he goes, see, brother, why you gotta take the neighbors out of the hood? And I said, what? He goes, why you taking the neighbors out of the hood? And I go, wow, you know what I mean? Well, yeah, I know what you mean, man. But what you're saying is you're basically taking the people out of it, and you're just talking about an object, a place.
Yeah.
Don't take the neighbors out of the hood. And I was like, oh, man, I can't ever say hood again now.
Dude, I'm telling you,
But
man.
yeah, man's deep. Man's
The
deep.
man's
It
deep.
means a lot. Don't forget that.
And it is true. Just like the word,
yeah.
I can't even say hood no more. I gotta say neighborhood too now. All right. So all right. So we're gonna go ahead and move into the because I know you got projects that you have dropping soon.
Yes.
What you got going on?
Well, 2016 release of my Illegal Alien album is going tomorrow. It's hitting all streaming plats.
All right.
I need to get on Bandcamp. But it's a trilogy. You see, I'm explaining the strife of an immigrant. You feel me?
Your storytelling is.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Nas. I'm a big fan of Nas.
Yeah.
You know? I listen to a lot of hip hop from Spain. I listen to Control Machete.
Yep.
A lot of too many influences, man. A lot of influences.
Yeah.
I get bored with American rap sometimes.
That's the beautiful thing about being a Latino.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You have more palettes. Yeah.
Not only that, but we like a little bit of everything.
Yeah.
We have cumbia,
That's right.
we have salsa,
Salsa,
we
bachata.
have rock,
Yeah.
heavy metal. I just
Everything
had
has its place, yeah.
a girl that did metal here last week.
Metal's huge in Mexico.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We really have all kinds of things to pick with,
Yeah.
you know, and that's awesome.
Yeah.
So you're doing a trilogy, you say, right?
Yeah, it's a trilogy. It's the Illegal Alien trilogy. First album, Illegal Alien.
Mm-hmm.
It's all streaming plats tomorrow. Kilo Artefacto. Second album is The Resident.
Mm.
I made the Illegal Alien while I was illegal.
Uh-huh.
I actually did an interview with the Dallas Observer while I was illegal, and I had to lie to them and tell them I
Yep.
wasn't, just so that I wouldn't let any evil people out there give them the
Absolutely.
upper hand. You know?
Absolutely.
By the way, shout out to anybody who's ever had any conflict with me and didn't deport me. For real. I love you for that. I appreciate y'all.
Yeah, that's deep, bro.
Yeah.
Because that is always in the back of the mind whenever
Yeah.
you're in that status. It
Yeah,
really
that's
is.
right.
You know
but
what I mean?
you know, you clean up your karma and you do
Yeah.
good by you and by others, and you good.
All right, and then the third one,
The Citizen.
Citizen.
So
which is
maybe
coming.
next year I can start working on The Citizen. But I am like
dope.
70% done with The Resident right now.
That is so dope, bro. The way that you do it and paint it, and the way that
Yeah.
it's purposely done. And again, if you never heard of him, one of his tracks, when you hear some of his tracks, there's a bunch of them on YouTube. That the storytelling is the one that gets me. The 12 steps and everything, you can kind of see it and follow the instructions easy. And moving on from that, you did the empanada.
Oh.
Same thing. You did the instructions for the recipe, not necessarily the recipe.
Yeah, but explaining it.
First of all, he does this.
We
Tell
didn't
him
even
about
talk
the
about
empanadas.
Empanadas from Chile are a hidden gem. All right.
Pinot Style Empanadas, to be
Pinot
exact.
Style, exactly.
The only
Yes, sir.
ones here in the DFW. There's not another one like it. Like, if there's any more pop-ups, is because you originated that, because there's no other ones.
There's a few others, but I think like there's a lot of Chilean people whose auntie makes them. And no disrespect, everyone has their own empanadas. But I have the pride of saying my tia Delia was the bomb diggity best empanada lady in the 90s.
Okay.
And she'd go to the soccer games where my uncle and dad played, and everybody just raved about her empanadas. This is before social media. Imagine that now, how it'd be, you know?
Oh, absolutely.
But, you know, I grew up on them, and that was my gold standard. And then I got online and tried to learn a recipe. I fooled around with something. I came up with the dough, and then I let her try it one day, and she was like, not bad. You're doing your onion all wrong. Da-da-da-da-da. Do this, take this, don't add any of that. Da-da-da-da. She basically gave me, she took one bite and told me exactly what I was doing wrong.
That's crazy.
I went home, I fixed it, bro, and it's almost like it's been a magic switch ever since. Like, I got it down now. Like, the meat has that saltiness that combines with crumbled egg, raisins, and black olives. Some strange ingredients for some folks, but trust me, once you bite into it.
Yeah, nothing I would ever eat, but but I did see the lady's reaction from Channel 8, and her face was priceless whenever she bit into it. It was so good, because it has, like you said, the sweetness, and then you got the saltiness from the olives, and then the mix together. Because I used to eat. It hasn't been about 4 years that I stopped, but I used to love it.
Are you vegan? Or
Vegan
okay,
mostly.
Cool. I make a vegetarian option. I'm not quite there on the vegan, but I will get there.
Yeah, you're gonna miss out some bucks if you don't get.
I know.
It's coming.
My DJ Buddha Fingers. Shout out to Buddha Fingers. He's a vegan, you know, and he's
telling you the same. He's telling you the same thing I've been telling you, because right now, like, okay, I'm not trying to push my agenda or my vegan agenda on people, but if you don't realize that it is the wave for the next few years to come,
you gotta get with it.
Then you're gonna lose some money.
That's right.
That you can possibly make now, and you have I'm only saying it because you're giving me another option that I can eat something different than what I already make myself. Absolutely. But then at the same time, it is going to be the wave. Well, why miss with some money that you can actually make now?
Absolutely.
Because I guarantee you, if I put you in some of the groups that I like vegan, there's because I'm in a couple of vegan groups on Facebook just to find places to eat. Just to find places to eat. I don't ever
you need
contribute.
help, right?
My apologies for the group.
Need help.
But I always try to find places where they have. 4 years ago, I started being a vegan, like eating vegan, right? It's just like I was just disgusted. That's pretty much the simple short.
It, huh?
But from that time that I began to now, there's been a growth like crazy as far as how many more restaurants there is. Maybe I found 2.
You feel physically
4 years ago. I feel
cleaner,
fine.
better,
I feel good. I feel good. I feel fine. I don't get tired when I eat. I feel good. I feel good. I'm straight up Mexican. My family supports me a lot as far as like my.
That's hard. That's tough, man.
They didn't even give me a hard time. They're all maybe because they love me.
Yeah.
But they're just like, oh, viene Crispin, and then okay, esto no come, and then that's it. They make it for me or whatever. Oh no, aquí. Hago algo, mijo, de volada. I got frijoles, and me. Being a Mexicano, bro. But frijoles.
All day. I could be that. Give me that.
Too easy, bro. It's too easy. All right. So now that you finally got the recipe down, then you put it out.
Yeah.
And then how has been the response? Because you've been everywhere, right?
It's been phenomenal, bro.
You've been on Channel 8. Has the Observer made a...
Dallas Morning News.
Dallas Morning News. What else?
In Spanish. Dallas News en Español.
En Español también?
I'm about to be on UNT at Denton. I have a TV performance with their I think it's their on-campus TV.
So is it like a cooking or mixing or music?
It's like this. It's a Latin flavor meetup. Basically this.
That's
without
cool.
I know that you're involved in the scene. I don't know who they are. They reached out to me. Yeah. But shout out to Ulysses from UNT for hitting your boy up. I'm gonna bring a lot of these for y'all that day. Don't worry.
That's cool. So and then you've been getting a lot of orders. Like you sold thousands of them.
I stay pretty busy. I had to turn it into a real business. I got laid off with the pandemic. Here's the funny thing. Here's the funny thing. You spend all your time illegally trying to work wherever you can, laying tile, painting, freaking kitchen. Fine.
Yeah.
You know how I got in the kitchen? I was going for a waiter job, thinking I could get some tips and have some cash on a nightly, right?
Yeah.
Party cash or whatever. It's a quick turnaround, so there's always hiring for waiters, right?
Yeah.
And the guy gives me the interview. He's like, all right, it's going to be $10 an hour. You're going to be doing some prep work. Da, 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 da. You worked in the kitchen before? I was like, Boy, I could cook maybe some eggs and some boxed macaronis. And then I'm talking 2010, bro. This is 2010. I worked at restaurants before, but it was managing and fast food. But after that, franchise bar and grill in Plano. My man, Man, and this is the thing about La Raza. Like, La Raza, Mexican people have always been extremely inviting to me. Extremely. Not always, but 90%.
It's a good amount, yeah.
Good amount. You know what I mean? This dude, Manuel Reyes, he schooled me, bro. He told me how to hold a knife, how to chop the peppers. Because some won't help you. Some will just let you sit there and squirm.
Oh, yeah,
and other dudes will say, hey, you want to learn? Well, you going to learn today, right?
Yep.
Dude, I started appreciating vegetables now. I started eating better. I started cooking my own foods. And I was like, oh, my goodness, in my 20s, I had this.
You save a lot of money, too.
Yes.
Not eating out.
Yeah, I didn't even know that I could do that for myself, bro. It's kind of sad. You know what I mean?
You learned to cook from that guy, and you started doing your thing at that time.
Yes, sir.
That's crazy.
And we did calzones, right? And then I worked at an Italian spot.
It's not the same as an empanada.
It's not, but that's what gave me the idea. I got really good at. Now their dough comes frozen, you know, at the Italian spot.
Yeah.
But I was making them pretty much identical every time. My hands are getting pretty good at it. I wonder. Nah, not like that. But you know what it is, dude. When you're an immigrant, you gotta try extra stuff, dude. Because one job, one little thing is not gonna cut it.
It's not gonna cut it.
You gotta have different things, man. And that's what I was telling Hannah Davis from Good Morning Texas. Appreciate the shout out. But we're forced to it, you know. Yeah. Luckily, I always saw my parents doing extracurricular stuff. You know what I'm saying? They clean offices, they clean houses, maintenance work. But on the weekends, it's Sabor Tropical. They're dressed all nice. They're playing.
But it's still another gig, though.
Yeah,
it's still another job. I mean, even though they might enjoy it more, it's still another gig.
It's still another gig.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and at their age now, they're making more money off their music than their jobs, and I'm happy because I don't want them, working to the end. You know what I'm saying? I need them to chill a little bit. So.
Yeah, I feel you on that because my dad, when I was growing up, so I used to be again super naive. Even when I got to the military, but I didn't realize how much short of money we were.
Oh yeah.
Until I realized that you are short of money. Yeah. And he used to work 2 jobs and still just barely making it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
So that would trips me out. Yeah. And so pretty much what I'm gathering is that going to be like your plan as far as where you're going to take the empanadas?
I'm taking this. I'm taking
a restaurant in the making.
Yeah, absolutely. It's just right now with the pandemic, I didn't want to jump into that and fail miserably right away because we don't know what's happening. Right. Plus, the catering model works for me. I have a ghost kitchen, so all my permits are clear. I can sell anywhere in Texas.
Oh, that's dope. So you got a catering on top of for the empanadas.
Yeah. Well, it's basically personalized delivery catering. That's what I'm saying. It's a new thing. And I heard on the radio, Wendy's is starting to do that now. Where they're going to start having these ghost kitchens where it's just kitchen workers and then Uber Eats goes and picks food and drops it off. It's a moneymaker. I stumbled across it by accident. But when I first started going out with the Imps to really try, I was starting to go to bars. I'm sorry. So I was going to bars, right? Hey, what's going on? Anybody hungry? The funny thing is, I've sold
drunk
CDs.
People are always hungry.
Yes. I sold CDs in the rain, in the ice. I made a living off of that. I'm not going to say that I made millions or balled out, but I paid my rent and I didn't have a job and I relied on myself for a while. And I was able to focus on my music, and then when it got tough, I'd go and get, a job somewhere or get a tile job going.
You're more brave than I am because I like stability.
Yeah.
And to just do that.
I had no choice, though.
I get that part, but just, I know it's out of necessity, right? But still, it takes a little toughness and mental. Even though I've been to basic training and stuff, it just takes a little.
It is.
Like there's a safety net for me having an employment, even though they say if I've lost it today, I'll be okay and find me another one. But still.
But I have kids, I only really relied on myself. You know what I mean? My parents were in Plano or in Dallas. I was in Fort Worth. I didn't really have much but my crew, so we grinded it out and we made it happen. Bajo Mundo in the mid 2000s, we made noise without any drug money backing us, without any shiesty business. Just the talent stood alone, and there's people to this day that hit me up like, man, bro, what you dropped back then was crazy. I'm like, yo, listen to the new stuff. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, absolutely.
But you try everything.
Okay, so you're gonna, and again, I think the way that things are happening nowadays, with people not wanting even to go to work, as far as like restaurants, I think what you're doing, I think it will be even better to do so.
Yeah.
All right. So you told me you have a song. We're gonna play a small little snippet
from The Resident. It's the first single on The Resident.
We jumped a little bit the gun on it. We started talking about the empanadas because you got so much things going on. But we're gonna play like a little snippet of it to let people know a few seconds, and then just tell me a little bit about the song itself. and how did it come to be. So go ahead and play it for a few seconds.
Yeah. This is called Grass.
Face value is key to credibility. I met most of my peeps there. I keep staring at the prize in the sky, but still watch where I step. I don't need no surprise. I'm cool. I used to drive the speed limit. Now you can drive around the
All right. So I told you about this song. Like when I heard it, it's like if anybody like a Latino, like, because first of all, let me tell you about the global Latin factor. The global Latin factor, I have a definition for it. To me, it's like everything, all the years of work that we continue to do, that now you can't help but to go anywhere and feel the influence of the Latino.
Oh yeah.
And that's like, I have like a definition for it, but it's pretty general as far as what I thought whenever I came out with the concept. And then to make it a little bit Latino-ish looking, this is all the pretty much Latin American flags that we have, every single one of them. You already know what's up. And look, all right, like where you're at. And like, I don't forget that we're human beings, right? We are human beings, and I know you talk about that a lot, because you talk about. I think you're into depth as far as like being aware of a lot of like conscious and things like that, and you're into stuff like that. Yeah. So after a while, we realize that we're still human, and we're from a different. We're just human beings here on planet Earth. Yes, we get put in this Chile or Mexico, but at the end of the day, we still are trying to do better for our families, right? But what I was feeling is that a lot of the people were starting to forget the things that our culture, even though it's a census title that they give us, Latinos or Hispanics, right? But at the same time, they're starting to forget of the things that our culture contribute to, like chiles, peppers, chocolate, tortilla, corn, and all those
things. Did you know
things.
Caesar salad was invented in Mexico?
Tijuana. In Tijuana.
By the Margarita Man, right?
In Tijuana. In Tijuana.
Margarita Man's from Dallas.
And the Margarita Man's from Dallas?
The Margarita Man's from Dallas.
Imagine that.
Well, maybe from Mexico, but you know, he had a restaurant in Dallas. Right around the corner, actually.
All that stuff is everyday stuff that we just tend to just not give it a thought. And I thought it's very important too. Like people like you that have a story. People like artists. I talk about artists, scientists. We have female astronauts. Yeah. We have recapture, that stuff that you have to do a password. That's a Latino, you know that? From Guatemala. I learned all this stuff here. You know, ballerina guys, things like that like just every freaking thing that I can think of that is Latino related. That's the reason we talk about it, right?
All your copper piping is probably from Chile too.
Which
all your
you was telling me about the copper, right, for a long time. That things went sour, but at the same time,
copper war.
Again, I didn't even know that. Yeah. So maybe I can do one in regards to the. Oh, and then another thing that I looked at, the one of the titles of one of your songs, the Condor.
Yeah, the Flight of the Condor.
So I looked it up, Chilean Condor.
Yeah.
Dope. That was so dope.
It's the bird.
So anyways, what I was saying is that's what it meant to me, right? Yeah. As far as the Latino, and I felt like it's necessary for us to do
symbolism
that.
And
absolutely.
highlight things that shouldn't disappear. Yeah, man, you're right.
And then as far as like you to live, like I'm not gonna say to leave you, Mark, or whatever, but in the next few years, what do you feel yourself that you're gonna be doing as far as like, do you really like accept the Latino term or anything like that, or not? It's like whatever to you.
We're humans, honestly, and I love soccer. I love being a Chilean. I love that it's given me the tongue to speak in different dialects. But the fact that we are all human and we can move on to a next level of community, without these political boundaries and lines, rompiendo fronteras. Flag-wise too, you know what I'm saying? No disrespect, I love them flags, but you know,
because those things were man-made.
It's just identity, bro.
And not only that, but those things were man-made after a long time. We didn't have borders forever.
We were settled. This isn't our language. Spanish ain't our language either.
Yeah,
you know
and then that's what I was thinking whenever I was listening to the song. Is like if any Latino had a struggling thing, like migrating over to a different country to going through some struggles, like that's what I was getting from that song. Like, dang, that really spoke to me, because I was like, oh yeah, that's true. Oh yeah, doing that, and then I'm like, what?
Yeah, appreciate you listening that deep.
So how did that song come to be, real quick? Because we gotta cut it short here. So
Grass or the Flight of the Condor?
The Grass.
it's talking about the grass being greener on this side. You know what I mean? At the same time, you know, in Dallas now you can roll around with some green up to a certain amount. So to me, it was kind of funny. You know, like I used to drive the speed limit to make sure no one ever pulls me over.
Yeah, because you were at the status too, though.
So you have to just be careful, never run into laws, not fight, not get in trouble. So I have to live within a bubble for a long time, bro.
Extra too, because of the status
paranoia,
too.
Yes. And struggling, you know, on top of that. And no money, and just you have to grind. You got to do what you got to do.
You know how many people can relate to it? Like I said, even though it's not the same story, I can relate to it for the same reason, because we do. Like we have to drive more carefully. We have to like make sure that there's nobody that this and that, you know.
And now I still do it. It's like in me now. Like I got my license. I'm legal as heck. But why I'm going to speed limit and all nervous about that cop? Why? You know what I mean?
Well, it happened to me when I came back from Afghanistan Iraq for like about a solid 3 years that I was like paranoid.
Just
it takes a while. Because it is like a little post-traumatic.
It is, bro. It is. To live your life in fear. And someone told me the other day, they're like, oh, they're tripping on the mask. And like, oh, you don't want to come to my whatever. You can't live your life in fear. And I was like, don't tell me about living in fear, bro. I lived in fear for 25 years, bro. I'm done with that now. You know what I'm saying?
That's true.
But we can't. The truth is we can't.
Why can't it be freedom? Why can't it be freedom to choose to wear the you know what I mean?
Yeah, it can be.
That's what I'm saying. People are weird because I think the world issue is that we feel so much like some certain people, not everybody, and even oneself at times, we feel like we're so much better than whoever that we want to impose our beliefs that you have to
Me too.
do
I
it
do
like
the same
this.
thing with my hip hop.
You know what I mean?
I do the same thing, and I don't like to, but it's in there, and sometimes you got to check yourself before you look like a fool online or something. You know what I mean?
So if it was people just to left alone, like you want to wear a mask, you don't want to wear a mask, that's fine.
That's all it
stay
is.
away from me.
That's all it is.
I stay away from you. We cool. We have our own little area. All right. So real quickly before we let you go, all your social medias, where can we all find you at? And I did it last time, but I think it's a decent thing to do as far as because it kind of helps you at least have the idea. So in 2 years, a short-term goal, and in 5 years, a long-term goal. So 2 year. What would that be?
In 2 years, Chef Key's Empanada Empire has a location in Dallas and in Fort Worth.
All right. And then in 5 years?
We have locations all across the country, and I'm running a studio and a label.
Okay. And the music?
I'm coaching kids on making proper, positive, influencing hip-hop.
And the new sound that you presented to me, where do you see that at?
It's revolving cycles. Everything's going to change. You can't
so it's not
push
gonna
the
be
same play button forever. It changes.
Okay. All right. And before I let you go, all your social medias and everything, where can we find you at?
It's all Kilo Artefacto. You can find it in English or in Spanish. It pulls up either way. My YouTube is Kilo Artefacto. Facebook is Kilo Artefacto. My Instagram is Kilo De Facto. So any kind of kilo and facto, you're going to run into your
And
boy.
then, okay, so the name, the chef, real quick before I let you go.
Chef Key.
Why? Well, of course, Kilo, but is that where it comes from?
That's what it's from.
That's it.
Tell you this, no one knows this, but I used to coach, before the pandemic, I was coaching my daughter's soccer team. I was Coach Key.
Coach Key.
So it always, the key follows me around. Kilo, obviously
Kilo,
from that, but it's, no one calls me Julio, you know what I mean? My mom hardly calls me Julio, but like all my friends, I'm Key. If you know me deeper than just Kilo, then you know it's Key. My friends are Key.
It could be more than that, like a symbolism of opening the door to unlock.
I had to change it because at first I was going with just K.I.
K.I.
And people were saying, hi, Chef Kai. And I was like, no, it's not Kai. I got to spell it with a key now. But you're right, opening doors, like Jim Morrison. I like that.
For people like immigrants, like resident, like Latinos, from either, we're only
La
llave of all the Latino stuff that could be, you know?
Wow,
like all the things that you open up for your story and the documentary that you got coming up.
I love the energy that you're giving.
The images that I saw, it's like from a movie that I like. What? This is dope. Yeah. I know that I'm talking, and it's not out. Is it out already on YouTube?
It's not out yet. Okay. No.
So
that's very raw what I showed.
So what I'm talking about is a documentary that he's preparing, and just I'm not gonna try to spoil it, but I'm just telling you a little bit of what I saw. The raw images, all crazy how they have the cameras and the way that they filmed it. It was like it seemed like it was scripted, but it's not. It was perfect.
My dad had a JVC camera in the 80s in Norway, and he would just film everything.
And then the way that they were your relatives adamant about the date so they can remember the date that it happened.
We were leaving those parties that I have.
I hope I'm not saying too much, but I think it was super dope.
It's perfect. My cousin hit me up with it during the pandemic. She's like, "Hey, look at these videos that I digitized." I'm like, "Oh my gosh!"
That's perfect.
The whole story just came out in front of my head. You know, like, "Oh wow!"
All right. Well, we're gonna have to cut it, and we appreciate you,
bro.
Thank
Your
you very
energy
much.
is amazing. Thank you. You've given me
Thank you
ideas. Like, yeah, that's something we need to work on. You know,
I'll tell you, I'm gonna talk to Los Gran Reyes,
For
see if they're interested in it all, and the Yakulites together and work,
absolutely.
whatever.
For sure.
And again, I do truly wish you luck in everything
bro.
you do. I think consistency is key, and I think you know it. And I think the thing about mastering 10,000 hours away, I don't know if it's true or not, but it just makes a lot of sense that if you keep doing it, then I know you're going to get better at it. And I can tell by the last performance that I told you I seen, the confidence, even right now, the delivery is like, you can tell that it's been an ongoing thing. So I wish you nothing but good luck, and I'm pretty sure I'm going to see you later on, bigger things, doing bigger. And I'm looking forward to the vegan option empanada.
I'm gonna definitely, next time you see me, I'm gonna have you.
I got you. All right. This is the Global Latin Factor podcast. Again, we are just like you. We are the melting pot, the spice of this melting pot that is the world. Till next time. Salud.
Todos en este